those of you out there in the interwebs land may know Gopal Metro already. He is one of the founding members of the band Bella Morte. And most recently, you have founded another band with Andy Dean from Bella Morte called
Brighter Fires. Check it out.
So, we went for lunch, or brunch, I suppose it was, at Caravan of Dreams, which is a restaurant just down the street from the Lair of Voltaire. Now, this is a restaurant that's all vegan, all vegetarian.
Caravan of Dreams.
Caravan of Nightmares, if you're a meat eater. But I had an absolutely delightful lunch. But, the reason I picked the place is because I know that you do not eat meat. You want to share your philosophy on food and eating?
Not much of a philosophy. I was born and raised vegetarian. Never really eaten meat. Never really felt the need. Actually tried a couple times and didn't succeed. I couldn't actually eat the meat, which was interesting. But I'm we're all alive. We all eat stuff. So if you eat meat, cool. Cool by me. If you're vegetarian, cool. I'm no philosophy. I guess I was just raised that way, and I can't kill animals. I guess that's a big part of it. I can't go out and kill a cat, so I won't eat it.
Well, you know what? I think that there's a lot to that, because I do eat meat and I do enjoy eating meat, but if I had to, I can't kill a mouse. I have trouble, I'm so squeamish at the thought of killing mice. If I had to go out there and kill an animal and gut it and butcher it myself, there's a very good chance I'd be vegetarian. And that's probably true about most people. I think it's safe to say, despite the fact that you came here dressed as a dark friar, I love this look. I wish you were standing, because honestly, you don't really get the full friarness of it unless you're standing. But you are not Christian, right? Is that correct? Do you want to tell us a little bit about your spiritual beliefs?
Yeah, I grew up in a place called Yogaville, Virginia.
No kidding, Yogaville, Virginia.
Yogaville, a town of yoga, and it's pretty awesome. It's an amazing place to be. But one of the core principles is truth is one, paths are many. Basically, whoever you are, whatever your faith is, it is entirely unique to you. You get two Christians in the room who go to the same church, who say, we believe the same thing, and then you separate them and ask them questions about the Bible, and they're going to give you different answers. Same thing with any faith, any Buddhist, any Taoist, whatever the religion. Everybody has their own unique belief system. So as opposed to try and railroad, I guess, anybody into a particular belief or faith or my way is right business, I'm totally not into that. It's all about acceptance. It's all about just recognizing that we have different beliefs and we're still cool.
So you're not out there recruiting?
I'm not out there recruiting. Go to Yogaville.
You're not at the airport. You're not at the airport with pamphlets.
Hare Rama.
Although I think it'd be pretty cool, to be honest with you. If there's a bunch of guys dressed just like you recruiting with pamphlets, I'd dig that. Here in New York City, we have a lot of Hasidic Jews, and around Passover, I think it's Passover, it could be a different holiday, the mitzvah van comes along, and that's basically like a giant RV that's blasting, Yiddish music, which is pretty awesome, actually. But these hordes of Hasidic Jewish men will come out of it, and they will stand around, and they have, I think, like a palm leaf in one hand, and I can't remember what it is they hold in the other hand, and they ask every man who walks by if they're Jewish. They go, "Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish?" I've never ever seen someone say, "Yes, I'm Jewish." Everybody's like, no. And I've gotten to the point where when I walk by with my son, and they go, "Are you Jewish?" I always look at them and I go, "I'm not even circumcised." Which really confuses them. But one day, I actually witnessed a guy who said, "Yes, I'm Jewish," and holy mother of hell, they picked him up off the ground and danced him around, and they were celebrating, and they swept him up into the mitzvah van. and he was never seen again.
Dun, 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 dun.
Until later that night. I'm just kidding.
When
But
you get home.
yeah, so yeah, if you want to have a heck of a good time with a bunch of Hasidic Jewish men, say yes when they ask if you're Jewish. The word ashram came up at one point.
Yes.
What is an ashram exactly?
An ashram is a spiritual community where people go to explore their own spirituality, pretty much. And traditionally speaking, they were aligned with a specific lineage or specific faith in East India, and or India. So ashrams are pretty plentiful in India, but not so common in the U.S. And I was born and raised in an ashram in the U.S. And again, I went back to India and I studied the lineage that our ashram came from, and the one in the U.S. is very unusual for the U.S. and for India. Again, that dedication to interfaith worship and acceptance of one another's beliefs. It doesn't matter like what your belief is, whether you believe in God or you're agnostic or atheist or whatever. The whole goal is self-awareness and joy, happiness. And it's pretty amazing.
Well, living in a world where or a culture where walking down the street and being goth could get you beat up, they don't look at you and say like, "What did we do wrong?"
Quite the opposite. Yeah, they go, "Oh wow, he found his place. He's a happy guy." And yeah, I mean,
that really mopey, sad-looking guy is really happy.
It's a conundrum. I write the darkest stuff when I'm smiling. It's like,
and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I write the darkest stuff when I'm smiling. That's a song title.
It's beautiful.
That's a song title. We need to work on that. Well, since I knew that you were going to come and take over for Mr. Orville Dedenbacher, I put the word out on my Facebook page and elsewhere on the interwebs. And a couple people sent in some questions. DJ Solaris, do you remember her? Yeah, from Alchemy Nation. She says hello.
Oh,
that's
hi.
Not really a question, but nice to see you. I like her quite a bit myself.
Yes.
Sandy Johnson asks, would you please bring Voltaire home with you to play at the Jefferson?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming the Jefferson's a venue?
The Jefferson is a venue. Yeah,
is it in Yogaville?
It's not in Yogaville. There are not many venues in Yogaville, unless you're into Kirtan. Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
We could rock that.
We could rock that.
Carrie Mead asks, what made him and Andy decide to form Brighter Fires and play together again?
Because we love doing it. That's the simplest answer. I left Bella Morte because I was having a pretty rough time of it, and the sound had changed directions, and I really like Bella Morte's sound, but it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to create, and I recognized that everybody else in the band did, and so I chose to step out and let them keep the name going and stay with that project, and then but after a couple of years, Andy and I started hanging out again, and we realized that we really just love writing music together, and so we formed Brighter Fires.
All right, well, that's extremely, extremely noble. It's so rare that somebody has a disagreement with people, and instead of trying to force them to see his way, he says, no, this isn't really working for me anymore, and everyone else seems to be happy with it, so I'll bow out. So hats off to you, my good man, for taking the higher road.
I also cried a lot.
There's lots of crying involved. Stefan Christofferson, ask him if he'll do a Celine Dion cover with you. But I don't want to do a Celine Dion.
Once more.
My heart will go on a plate. I stole that from Goth Talk on Saturday Night Live.
Nice.
Yeah, there was an episode where one of them, Baron Nocturno, I think it was singing a Celine Dion cover at their prom. And all the goths were like, Celine Dion? That's not goth. He goes, no, this is a goth version of My Heart Will Go On. It's called My Heart Will Go On a Plate. It's pretty good stuff. Samuel Gagnon. Gagnon. Or Gagnon. I'm going to go with Gagnon. I like that better. It sounds French. Well into the intro to Zombie Prostitute on your live album, my live album, I guess, you mentioned that the members of Bella Morte enjoy the services of zombie prostitutes. All right, I don't know if you've ever heard it, but there's an intro I do on the live album. I don't remember how it goes anymore, but I think I mentioned that the members of Bella Morte never ever get laid. Is that true?
No.
Okay, it's a mystery. It'll remain a mystery. It'll remain a mystery. God, there's another one here. As a dog barks in the distance. Is it true that you had 2 genital piercings in Pittsburgh, and did you not cry like a bitch all the way home?
I didn't cry like a bitch, but it was painful.
There was a lot of moaning.
There might have been some moaning.
The same person who sent in that question also asked, as a child, did you not run screaming in fright from the theater when you saw The Dark Crystal?
Yes. That's really true. Dude, man, that got crumbled. I was like, holy shit, he's crumbling!
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you know that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Rankin and Bass Christmas special? Whenever the abominable snow monster would come out, I'd hide under the bed. I was terrified. Anyway, those 2 last answers were provided by a gentleman named Andy Dean. I don't know if you know him or not, but he sent those in. Thank you. Thank you, Andy, for being a fan of the show and sending in dumb questions. We appreciate it here. Now, unfortunately, I wish that I could use this as an opportunity to promote your next show, but your next show is
Tonight. New Year's Eve.
Yes. Well, tonight won't be tonight when you see this, but
yeah, you missed it.
New Year's Eve. So tell us a little bit about tonight's show.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. We're playing with DJ Jason, Alchemy Albion, and a ton of other clubs and or nights. And we're playing with Ego Likeness.
Ego Likeness, very good friends of ours.
Ingrid and the Defectors. This will be my first time seeing those guys live. And Whispers of the Sparrows and Dorian James. And I think Mechanical is not going to make it. But yeah, it should be an awesome time.
It sounds like a hell of a time. New Year's Eve in New York City. Big goth party with lots of awesome bands. So I hope you went. Because it will have been like a week ago by the time we're watching this. I hope you have a fantastic show tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming to the show and sitting in for Mr. Orville Dedenbacher. You were, and I hope he doesn't hear this.
I've seen Voltaire naked.
No, you haven't.
Actually, no. I have.
Have you really? Oh my God! What city?
What city? Let's say, what was it? Charlotte, North Carolina.
Really?
And New Orleans.
Oh.
And Charlottesville.
Ouch.
Voltaire.
Was it? You probably didn't see me naked. You probably just saw me pantsless.
No, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
All right.
And a belly shirt.
What? Really? All right. This is my last drink. I swear. My God. Okay, so sometimes I do get pantsless. This is true. Before we send you off on your way, I've decided, since you are the first official guest of the Lair of Voltaire, that we would start a little tradition here. Now, as it happens, there was a young lady by the name of Amanda Palmer from the band the Dresden Dolls who stayed here actually for a week in the Lair of Voltaire when she and I were recording a song called Stuck With You for my album Ookie Spooky. And that week she stayed here in the Lair. I feel awful about it because it was the week that the boiler broke and it was in the middle of winter and there was no hot water or heat. So she says she stayed here. She probably was only here like for 5 minutes, and when I left she probably immediately checked herself into the Rivington downtown. But nonetheless, before she left, she gave me this little pony. And I asked her if she'd sign it, and she refused, and I don't know why. She's a lady of mystery, many mysteries. But I thought, you know what? Let's just have everyone who comes on the show sign it,
Okay.
and at the end, we'll sell it for $1 million. I'll probably just give it away to someone. So let's get you a marker and sign My Little Pony. Although truth be told, it was called My Pretty Pony when I was a kid. They changed the name. I swear to God. I'm not psycho. Are you a brony, by the way?
Brony? Yeah. What?
You heard it here first. Gopal is a brony. I'll tell you what it is later. Pick a spot. Pick a nice spot. And make sure to leave room for all of our other friends.
You're a slob, it's such a bore. Your underwear strewn on the floor. And you're a pack rat, most extreme. Our house is full of magazines. The toilet's broke, and yet I bet His Majesty ain't fixed it yet.
And that's it for the Lair of Voltaire Gopal Metro. Thank you so much for coming by and sitting in for Orville Dedenbacher.
Why, thank you. I'll kill you in your sleep.